Hi everyone, today I'm going to be using this really interesting team. It's got a Dialga and I'll be trying this out for the first time. So let's see how this works out. It's got some really cool text, got the Seismitoad, got the Dialga, Quick Claw Ditto, and a few more Pokemon that are relatively more seen. We have a pretty standard-ish offensive Kyogre team. He's got the Kyogre, Zapdos, Ferrothorn, Urshifu, pretty all standard picks. I think he doesn't have much for Darmanitan, so I'm going to lead with it. I will have the Seismitoad in the back. That will be able to check the Kyogre, maybe the Pheromosa, Urshifu, not Urshifu, but I'd be able to beat a few things on this team, switch into them at least. He does lead with the Urshifu though, and I have no switch-ins here. And both the Bandit set and the Sash set are quite annoying. I will just U-turn here into the Helmet Seismitoad. I'm not sure if it'll survive. It might survive if it's Sash, but let's see. But either way, if I get enough damage with the U-turn, with the helmet, yeah. So with 2 rounds of helmet damage, that is definitely in range of the another U-turn. Could go for an Icicle Crash. Then I have options there. He does go for the Wicked Blow, and that does way over 50. So I guess, no, never mind. I thought it was Life Orb or something, but it's just standard Sash set. And I must be really especially defensive in order to check Kyogre. That makes sense. But once that Seismitoad has taken like 70% damage, it is not going to be helpful. I will just KO the Darm. Get the KO with the Darm here. I don't quite want to lock into a move just yet. So I will go into U-turn, and if I, for example, if I went for the Icicle Crash and if he has the Kyogre in the back, that gets really awkward for me, because he will definitely bring that out. Will resist the Icicle Crash, but this allows me to go right into my Dialga, which has a lot of resists, and hoping, unless it's got the Pheromosa, I think this is a pretty good matchup for Dialga. So let's see what he brings out. If he has Pheromosa, he probably brings it out and wins here. But he brings out Zapdos, so thinking that he either has the Kyogre, probably has the Kyogre here. And this is a bit tough, because I think the way he brought in the Zapdos and how he doesn't have that much a counterplay towards Dialga once he let go of the Urshifu, I'm thinking he has Eerie Impulse. And it'd be really nice if I can get into the Eerie Impulse. Yeah, so he does go for the Eerie Impulse. I was thinking about going hard into Darmanitan, but that is so risky. And I go for the Scout in case he were not Eerie Impulse, but doesn't matter too much. He goes for the Volt Switch, and this is gonna do nothing. And I'll be able to at least go for the Body Press. +2 Body Press is going to do more than whatever I do after the Eerie Impulse, so that's what I go for. And he brings out Ferrothorn, so this seems like a really good matchup, because I got ahead on the Iron Defense count. So do I go for the Body Press first? I think so. Don't want to get Leech Seeded, I think. Could go for, Iron Defense could still work here, but I think just going for the immediate damage, get this thing out of the way, that'd be ideal. And I do 80 something, that is a shit ton, and he just goes for the Iron Defense, and that is not gonna save your buddy. Looks like a pretty good matchup here for the Dialga. I don't think he really respected the Dialga. If he had brought these two, then I think he should have saved his Urshifu, Darmanitan, he could have just sacked something, try to save this Urshifu, you know, like, that was, I don't think that was, yeah, I don't think he respected that Dialga threat. He protects, but that's not gonna save him either still. He probably needs a few more of those to get out of the KO range. Let's see what he does. And he just forfeits. I think that was a wise forfeit here. There was no way he was winning from that. And let's see what we get the next game. We have a pretty interesting Calyrex Shadow Rider team. It's placed pretty well in the last season, and I'm interested to see what he has. He has a lot of Volt Turn elements, and I think Rillaboom is a big threat. But also, my Darmanitan is also a huge threat. He has no switch-ins at all. So I'm gonna lead with the Darmanitan. And I definitely need something to cover the Rillaboom, which will one-hit KO my Darmanitan with Grassy Glide. So, and I am gonna bring the Cinderace, which will revenge kill the Calyrex. And Dialga is going to be my Grass Resist. Yeah, that is the 3 I'm gonna pick. Let's see what he does. He leads the Rillaboom. Wise choice, given that he has minimal counterplay to this Darmanitan. He wants to get a positive matchup here at the very least. And I am okay with this. Even though he got the correct lead, he's almost forced to go into with the Grassy Glide here. He cannot afford to play games here, and I'll be able to just go into my Dialga, and he'll be locked into the Grassy Glide as expected, and that does nothing, but that's a crit. So, and I have lefties and grassy terrain recovery. And yeah, that literally would have done nothing if it didn't crit. I hope we have full health. I think he's gonna switch out, right? So I think I want to go for the Iron Defense here. But yeah, I misclicked. I clicked Body Press. And he goes into Shadow Rider. Yeah, this did not work out the best. Because I either go Flash Cannon, trying to hit something with decent damage, or I go into the Iron Defense, trying to power up my Body Press. But I just go into hard Body Press, and that is not good. I'm just gonna go for the Max Steel Spike, because I don't want to die to this Calyrex here, but this is not a good position for me. If I didn't go for the Flash Cannon because I wasn't sure that it's such a huge risk to take, because Flash Cannon was relatively free, and I would have never just gone into my win condition, which is his Calyrex has an amazing matchup here, and I would never just switch in like that, risk taking 60-70% to the Flash Cannon for minimal reward. I mean, but it works out. Misclick is bad. I will not dwell on it if possible. Yep. And I decide here to max Lightning instead, because I want to at least cut down on that grassy terrain recovery. And my defense boosts aren't really going to matter too much here against the Calyrex. And I want to at least... Right, so if I go by going for this max lightning, I am doing 6.25% more damage to the Calyrex in effect. And I'm going to be able to go for another max steel spike, and that is basically 12% more damage done. So this, I do think once that I Dynamaxed, even though it didn't work out very well against his substitute, once it happened, I tried to make the best out of it. And my Dynamax runs out, and he has a really strong Calyrex Shadow Rider in front of me, and he can just go for a ton of damage. Then if I take this damage, I don't have much of a counterplay to Rillaboom, and I'll be able to force to be at full health with the Cinderace. So this is really not a good position. I don't want to get him. Want to let him get a substitute up. Let's see if he Dynamaxes. He is at really low health though, but so yeah, he just goes for the raw Astral Barrage. That does 160 with the Life Orb. That is a ton. Understandable, but at least I get this threat out of the way. And he will not be able to check me with the Rillaboom, because I did get +2 with the Max Steel Spike. So let's see what his third Pokemon is. Let's see what he reveals, and then I'll be able to try to formulate my game plan around it, even though I really don't have that much counterplay of anything to speak of. But hey, it's better than nothing. I still have all 3 of my Pokemon. Zapdos doesn't hit Dialga super hard with just its stab moves. Maybe it will be forced to Dynamax in order to just try to save some HP on it. So let us see what he goes for here. He goes for the Dynamax. Understandable. He will do a ton. I was thinking this probably knocks out if he has Max Flare. Even maybe if he has some kind of an offensive item, this Max Airstream would just knock me out right away. And he goes for the Airstream. And I live on 4, which is really fortunate. But this really gives me a chance, because he will be able to knock out this Dialga the next turn. He activates his Moringa Berry, I believe. Yeah, and this is... It could have been a lot worse, because this is going to be able to spend another... waste another turn of the Zapdos Dynamax. And I think Darmanitan will be able to survive this Airstream and do a sizable chunk, seeing how little that did to the Dialga, you know? And I'll be able to get some damage on it. And if Cinderace wins the Sucker Punch War, I think, then I have a good shot at actually coming out on top. The Calyrex turn was a huge disaster, but I am happy at this juncture to take a potential 50-50 for a win, right? So it might not even be 50-50, but let's see. I live on 3, another very clutch survival in red, and I do land my Icicle Crash. I needed that, and he'll be able to... I'm kind of hoping he has Volt Switch, right? Because if he has to Volt Switch out to get this Darmanitan kill, then Rillaboom will be forced out, and Cinderace will just be able to clean up with Pyro Ball. But no, he has Discharge. Well, I mean, I honestly can't ask too much of him. And Moringa and Volt Switch, not really the best synergy here. And I am thinking he 100% has Roost, because Moringa Berry without Roost makes no sense. And Sucker Punch might kill. And I do go for this is the pivotal turn here. I go for the Pyro Ball, I think. I am thinking, because this is a very stressful turn, you know, but I think the Pyro Ball is the right play, because he will probably be thinking with his defensive investment that Roost is very safe. He has no reason to risk dying to a Sucker Punch right away and lose the game there, so... I get that turn right, fortunately. I go for the Pyro Ball, and that does 50, so I'm gonna... That is still very stressful, because it definitely means that Sucker will KO him. If the same roll, unless that was a really high roll. But it seems like I'm just gonna have to go for the high jump kick here, in order to actually outdamage the Roost. So I am risking the miss, but if I miss Pyro Ball or high jump kick, the recoil really doesn't matter. I'm gonna lose either way. And I do land the high jump kick, so that is very good. And he is in red now. And I just go straight for the sucker punch this time. He knows now. I'm trying to keep predicting this roost from him. And I go for the sucker punch, and my type changes. So that means that my sucker punch actually worked. Yeah. So I get the Zapdos. That was very exciting. And Rillaboom comes out. Because I have the Sash, I am gonna be able to win this 1v1 as long as I have the as long as I hit the Pyro Ball. So let's see what happens. He goes for the Grassy Glide. That does, yeah, that would have KO'd if I didn't have the Sash. And I go for the Pyro Ball, and I land. So that was a wild game. That was close. Good game. And this time I'm against Ultra Necrozma team that has Lapras. That is probably his main Dynamaxer, but he's not shoehorned into that. He has Zapdos. He also has Cinderace, so all of those could be Dynamax. And here I am thinking either the Zapdos or the Cinderace has good offensive matchup. So I lead the Zapdos and try to get some out of that with the Airstream. I bring the other two in the back. And he does lead with the Urshifu. That is fine by me. I'll be able to Volt Switch out if I want. But at the same time, I think Airstream seems fairly free here. It doesn't really have a good switch in or a counter, so I will take this opportunity to go for the Airstream. And it'd be nice if he's banded and I just knock him out in a single turn, but I do realize that is more of, a wishful thinking, because he could be Sash. Sash is a very real possibility on the Urshifu. And as opposed to, it's either on the Cinderace or the Urshifu. And it makes a lot of sense to lead with the Urshifu if it's Sash. So yeah, he does get the Sash survival. And I'll be able to spend 2 turns. I will be forced to spend 2 turns of Dynamax. But I can go up for just about anything here. I thought he is just gonna sack this Urshifu, so I'll go for the Max Flare, trying to power up my Cinderace and my potential later Max Flares. And the Pyro Balls, he just goes Lapras though. So that's such a greedy play. But it works out, so I guess it worked out. And this is not a good position for me. He will be able to counter Dynamax defensively, and be able to set those screens up. And that is, of course, not the best outcome for me, but I'm thinking I'll be able to stall out the screen turns with Roost. I have quite a bit of bulk investment on the Zapdos, for an offensive Zapdos that is, so I go for the Max Lightning. This is going to do a sizable chunk, and I'm thinking if I can stall out the screens, then Cinderace can win, right? Because I have the Sucker Punch against Urshifu, 1 HP, and I have the Pyro Ball, also a good thing. And that does about 50, a bit more than 50 maybe, but I think I'll be able to survive a few more if he keeps going for the Max Resonance. So I'll be able to just roost this off if he stays in. He might not though. Yeah, he switches out. That is a very good play by him. Because, he probably goes out into the Necrozma, and now he is able to take full advantage of those screen turns, and he'll be able to set up whatever he goes for, basically. And he goes for the setup move. I'll Volt Switch out. And I'm thinking, this is a tough turn, right? Because I could either go into the Cinderace or the Dialga. I figured Dialga is a bit better in case he is physical, right? Because if I can match Iron Defense with Dragon Dance, then I'll be in a pretty good position. I'll be able to stall out whatever he gets, and I might be able to clean up with the Cinderace. But no, that is pretty much all wishful thinking. He goes for the Cosmic Power, so that is the Cosmic Power stored power set. So that is gonna be able to just beat me here, I think, unless I get a few crits. I will just go for the crits, because let's see how much he does, you know, and I will go for the crits, all the crits. So I'll try to body Iron Defense 3 times, and once I get those and the Veil runs out, then I'll just keep body pressing, you know, and then if I get any crit against the Cosmic Power, then I'll be able to win the game there, and if I don't, then I'll be able to go forward the Cinderace attacks, so, and fish for the crit there. So if I get any of them, then I might come out on top. So understanding that I am at a serious disadvantage, I still want to eke out all my winning percentages here. So I'm gonna go for the 3 body presses, and if I lose this one, then I'll just either try to fast forward or edit that out, something like that. But I'll be able to show that I either win or lose. But what you guys need to know is I'm gonna try my best here, go for all the crits. And he has that does a sizable chunk. So if I think about how much that did with the +4, then the crit will do 90%. So if I definitely win on a crit. But unfortunately, he just Morning Suns all of that off. I think he should try to get the KO. But so yeah, yep, I lost that one. I didn't get any of the crits, but I mean, that's the game we play. Can't be too mad about that. He's got a weird as hell team. He's got the Golisopod, got the Steelix, but other 4 Pokemon are pretty standard. I think Seismitoad is a pretty good matchup against everything he has, and I will go Dialga and Cinderace, which has good offensive matchup here. I don't know what that is. Oh, that is Golisopod. So that I think I'm gonna be able to survive 2 attacks from it, and I know that Rock Tomb is gonna do nothing, because that actually, its redeeming point is that it actually has quite a bit of physical defense. So I'll go for the Toxic first, and that will help me get some chip damage, and I'll go for the Stealth Rock second, and I'll be able to maximize the damage I do on this Golisopod. If there is one redeeming point about Golisopod, it's that it's actually pretty good at trading damage. It's got a pretty good physical defense, physical bulk. Now I'll go for the Stealth Rock here, and he'll probably go for the Leech Life, and he'll be pretty healthy. I'll be forced to go Dialga, so let's see what he does here. Damn, he goes for the Stealth. I go for the Stealth Rock, of course, and I'll be able to do spread chip damage. And he goes for the Liquidation. Oh no, so I guess he didn't realize Seismitoad has Water Absorb. I don't think that was a good play, because I did reveal the helmet. I'm not offensive, so I'm gonna be Water Absorb, of course, on the defensive set, but we take those. I'm gonna go for the Rock Tomb, because I do think if I just go for the Earthquake, I might not get the bring him down below 50, because Seismitoad is weak and Golisopod is tanky. But that means that he gets a free switch into Steelix, as opposed to taking 30%-ish, maybe more on an Earthquake. But he has red card on his Steelix, so he brought both of his really wild picks here. And I will just go for the Iron Defense. And either EQ or Body Press should not be doing too much to me after this +2. I am very bulky, so goes for the Body Press. And that only does 50. And I will recover a sizable chunk of that with my leftovers. And I'll be able to... he might still be Iron Defense Body Press as well. I think that is probably his set, but I just want to get some more Iron Defense boosts. But that might have been a mistake. I probably wanted to go for the Body Press now and get maximum damage on the first initial Body Press, right? Because +4 versus +2 is going to do less than +2 versus +0. So I'm going to, at this point, there's no point just trying to keep matching Iron Defenses. That's going to be not in my favor. So I'm going to just get this damage while I can, cash in on this damage. And he goes for +4, so that is not exactly the best for me, because he does have the good defensive typing here. And I think I actually have to Dynamax here in order to actually damage this Steelix. Its special defense isn't too great, so even with the resisted max steel spike, I'll be able to do a lot of damage. And unlike Body Press, I'll actually be able to go for a special steel move and Dynamax on the same turn. So this will also mitigate how much damage I take from his Body Press, as opposed to me going for the Body Press. That means that I'll be forced to take that Body Press raw from his Steelix. But yeah, I definitely would KO with that max steel spike, and he can't even Dynamax out of that. And yep, my HP boost and my max steel spike defense boost means that I am very tanky here. And my Dialga, pretty good. Sitting pretty. If he has a Kyurem, right? Because my biggest concern is he has Kyurem, but because my Dialga has +4 now, no, +6 now, because I think I Iron Defense twice and I Steel Spike twice. So if he has Kyurem in the back, then Dialga just beats it super hard. So I am okay with just going for this Dialga Dynamax early, and it's not a bad position for me, even though my Dynamax is gonna run out here. His Swampert goes for the Dynamax here, and this, I'm okay with this. I'll take this, because that means that he probably won't be able to KO my Dialga with Max Quake. So if he is physical, that's gonna do nothing. Physical Max Quake is gonna do 0. He goes for the Max Guard. I'm not sure if that was a really good play, because I guess it's better than just... I guess I can't say that's a bad play, because I am okay with this, but at the same time, that's not a bad play for me, because I will be able to go for a regular Body Press, a +6 Body Press, and this should be doing a shit ton. But if he is special Swampert and he can KO on this turn, then this does minimize the... Yeah, he gets the KO. That is either special or a crit. I think, yeah, that's not a crit, so that is definitely a special Swampert. I think about going Cinderace first and switching into Seismitoad, but once that he already used Water move on the Seismitoad once, so I don't think that he's gonna fall for that. I just want to go into Seismitoad first and just go for the EQ, not trying to get too cute here with those plays. Go for the Earthquake. I do have quite a bit of special defense investments so on the Seismitoad, so I'm thinking maybe I do live on 5 health, oh my god. All these red HP survivals, and all of them are clutch. If I died, I think I actually needed to land a high jump kick in order to have a chance at winning the game, so I'm very glad that I survived, because this will let me go for the Earthquake. I think this EQ will knock out this Swampert, as it does, and I'll be able to afford a miss at the very least with the Cinderace. You know, that will be better odds for me. Yep, and he brings out his final Pokemon, Golisopod, takes Stealth Rock damage. He's going to be taking the Rocky Helmet, Poison, all that good stuff, and Cinderace hopefully hoping that it will be able to come out on top. He gets the first impression KO on the Seismitoad, so Golisopod pulling its weight, honestly, and I do have the Cinderace 1v1. I'll go for the Pyro Ball here, because one way I could lose is if he is very physically defensive and I miss out on the KO with Sucker Punch and he has Leech Life or something like that. I don't think he has it, but there's no point in not playing around it. So I'm just gonna go for the Pyro Ball. He gets the Sucker Punch and I miss. And now I can just go for the Sucker Punch here for sure, because this is knocking out for sure now after all that damage. So let's go. I do get the KO, the Sucker Punch, and that will KO. And good game, very fun team, but that team worked surprisingly well. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye.